Hey y'all, it is December the 26th, 2019 still. December the 26th, the day after Christmas, y'all. I wasn't able to get on yesterday because it was Christmas and, I got kind of caught up, actually. I was about to come on, but I got actually carried away with Norm Macdonald YouTube videos. And I gotta stress that out there. Norm Macdonald YouTube videos are the best. All right, everybody goes. Your favorite comedian goes to see Norm Macdonald on YouTube, and that's pretty awesome. I got carried away. I didn't have a stream. All right, tonight I thought I would do a little bit of a surprise stream. You know what I'm saying? For those people who might be straggling around and wandering around upon the internet, and just check in with y'all. And I got a couple of updates. I got some updates as, implied by the title of this live stream concerning Carla Faith. Actually, some breaking news, all right? So you're going to hear it here first, unless you're faster than me and stuff. And in that case, I might hire you. I might hire you on. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and I see that it's pressing up in the building. I'll play this Christmas Cookies. Alright, it's by George Strait, but it's a cover. It's actually Bart Fine up in the building. It said, they hate us because they ain't us, bro. I agree. I don't know who's they. Wait, what are we talking about? I just started off, and I'm not sure who and what we're talking about. They, more than likely, we're talking about YouTube. Alright. I might go ahead and just jump into it, but I want to hear a little bit of Cookies. This is a cover from George Strait.
Hello everyone, my name is Josh, and today I'm here to perform for you
His name is Josh.
Christmas Cookies, a
I
song
don't know if
by
he's
George
sideways
Strait.
on your
Now, a lot of people last night said they
scope.
liked country, and they also wanted to hear some Christmas music, so I thought that this would be a pretty good mix-up of them. I really like this song
Anyways,
myself.
I was checking this guy out right before the broadcast. Right, and he's singing about cookies.
Now those sprinkly things just
And I
make
also
things
like
worse
cookies.
because it makes them taste better than they did at first, and they're absolutely impossible to resist.
That guy's adorable.
Some disappear to who knows where, but I make sure I get my share, and those kids just stand there waiting for the ones I miss. I sure do like those Christmas cookies, sugar. I sure do like those Christmas cookies, babe. She gets mad that they're all gone before she gets the icing on. I sure do like those Christmas cookies, babe. Now there's a benefit to all of this that you might have overlooked or missed. So let me now tell you the best part of it all. Every time she sticks another batch in the oven, there's a 15 minutes for some kissing and a hugging. That's why I eat Christmas cookies all year long. Take it away, boys.
Alright, I felt like that I owed that to y'all out there. I see there's two people up in the building. I appreciate y'all, man. It's the day after Christmas. Couldn't get on, yesterday, but I thought I would get on today and check in with y'all and see what's going on. Now, Bart Fine, he's up in the comments section and he's talking about haters. Alright, so if we have any haters out there, that would just be the only other person who's watching right now. If you're hating on us, you just let us know right away. Because I think we're going to go ahead and address it tonight. We might go ahead and do it. I don't know if Bart Fine has anything or any haters in particular in mind right now who he'd like to call up to the carpet, who he'd like to put on blast, right now in front of everybody, and why they're hating and perpetrating on everybody. I think it's one of those nights that we go ahead and address that. In the meantime, I do have some updates. I thought I owed that to y'all. A little bit of a Christmas cheer, and cookies and stuff, and it's country music, it's George Strait and stuff, man. They're talking about what do they call it? Pitch and woo. You know what I'm saying? Down, what is it, laying down whoopee or something like that. Back in the day, and it's always been like that. Country music and and music in general, and just getting it on, I guess, during the holidays and stuff like that. Um, I don't know if that's appropriate or politically correct, but we're just gonna go ahead and move on, pretend like it's not a problem. All right. And as far as the other music, there's a lot of different covers and stuff. I was just looking at them. There's a lady doing the ukulele cookies, the cookie song. And I love songs about cookies and with ukuleles as well. But I don't think we had. I mean, we just who we're gonna pick. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if we had time for all that. All right. Unless we have a request, and I might take requests. But meanwhile, I did throw on this live stream because there are some updates. I did come across some stuff that we might as well go ahead and discuss. Meanwhile, first things first, I meant to put out a video today and I did not. I was doing some other stuff, but I do want to let y'all know that the progress is still progressing. We're getting very progressive up in here, and we're progressing our asses up off of YouTube here and there. We're on YouTube right now. All right, both of us, all three of us, we're on YouTube. But we're getting off of it. At least I'm getting off of it. I don't know about you, but I put out word and stuff like that of my intentions. All right, and that is to get on BitChute. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to upload a video, but I didn't today, and I'll probably get around to it. It's here and there, not too much, but I will do it on BitChute, right? As opposed to YouTube. And I might let y'all know about it on YouTube, but as far as the content, the real content, it's going to be over there on BitChute. And the live streaming is going to start being on DLive, all right? Now, I'm going to leave links below, like I've been leaving links and stuff. You can find them in the previous videos, all right? But slowly and surely, I'm going to get over to DLive, which seems like a wild place. If you haven't been there before, actually, it's pretty dang interactive. All right, YouTube and their live stream, they kind of pioneered the way and stuff, and it's pretty good. People get that money on YouTube. I've seen it. People get pretty dang good money, and for good reason, here upon YouTube. Do the super chats and this and that. People like to throw in donations. You can do the same type of thing over at DLive. In fact, it's more cooler in a sense. I like it because you don't donate money. It's weird, but you don't donate money. You give people money, but you give it to them in lemons and you give it to them in ice creams and diamonds and stuff. None of it makes sense, and it doesn't even have to. You can give someone a Ninja Genie, and if you don't know what that is, it's a Ninja slash Lamborghini or something like that. You don't give people money. It's very fun. Actually, I was on, just to have an aside, because we're about to go on DLive in the next few days, probably, definitely before next week. I got a DLive app and stuff right here. If you haven't seen it, that's kind of what it looks like. But I was on DLive the other day, and I was checking out this one lady here upon DLive. Her name is Grimoire. I think you can find her on Twitch and YouTube. It's one of those multi-platform type people getting that money. Anyways, she was over here on DLive, and I was checking her out. Like, these are the people who I'm following, and I think they are live right now. That lady is live. Look. Oh, look. I'm looking at it. Grimoire. Check this out. If you haven't been on DLive, check this out. All right. It's kind of got a nice format and stuff, and they seem to be improving. All right. They're not all the way there, but who is? All right. DLive. You got these people who I'm following right here, and they got people who they might suggest to me. But anyways, I was up in the Grimoire thing, and she was like just acting zany. Is basically what she does. All right. Nothing very serious, but just acts zany. She acts like a millennial or Generation Z and just acts wild. And anyways, this guy was up in her thing and was donating all sort of like stuff, right? Like not money, but Ninja Guineas and diamonds and stuff, just donating and stuff. And then he donated he gifted 50 subscriptions. It's wild. All the different things you could do on DLive. You can get subscriptions to people, and it'll give you like special different access, and you could do different things if you get a subscription to your different various favorite streamers on DLive. It's all very interactive. It's all very wild and fun and crazy. Long story short, this guy, he gifted 50 free subscriptions. So anybody who was in the room you could go ahead and claim that subscription, and I did. And what that means is, for this month for free, I get like VIP access or whatever. As far as the deal, it's crazy. It's pretty nice and very interactive. I think we're really gonna appreciate it as far as different things that you could do. Like for example, how some people they'll leave comments during the live streams. You'll notice that on D Live, if you haven't gone on there yet, that you can not only leave comments, but you can leave memes and stuff, like pictures and memes, and people do that a lot. People go nuts on it. All right, if you haven't seen it already, I promise you, people are going nuts on it. And I'm sure there's different other places, but of course, we're limited for time, so we're just gonna go to D Live. We're gonna go to BitChute. That's where you're gonna see us. That's where we've been leaving links to. And I'm going to leave a link later on. All right. I appreciate y'all. But I thought, get that out of the way. Now, maybe talk about the news a little bit. All right. We were talking about Carla Faith. If you don't remember, I mean, man, I hate to just keep bringing it up, but she's a lady in Colorado Springs who had a long history of just doing wild things with children and parading around like some daycare provider. She'd been doing it in California, decades prior, and she was doing it in Colorado Springs, and then she got caught for doing it. Then she got caught for having 26 little toddlers in a secret basement, and it didn't make hardly no sense, dude. And the news brought it up, and they were like, "Oh man, this lady, she was not providing daycare properly, basically, and stuff." And you might want to just give her a fine and stuff like it was very whimsical. It was very like nonchalant the way they brought it up. All right, I'm gonna bring it up right now. I'm not sure why I'm on Band.video, but shout out to Band.video. All right, they're doing big things. But I wanted to bring up. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. I don't know why I'm on BitChute. All right, y'all, I'm still trying to learn the technicals. Get out this, and I'm going to get on Google real quick. I'm just going to type in the name. If it's not already, yeah, it is. It is already typed in, all right? So if you're checking this out, we actually got some breaking news. I'm not lying to you, all right? I brag a little bit, maybe. I tell you that I'm about to bring you that breaking news, but then I really do bring it, don't I? 2 hours ago. Child care provider 4 hours ago and stuff, and obviously people are copying and pasting at furious speeds. I'm not sure exactly which article we want to dive into. I mean, because they're copying and pasting, it really doesn't matter. 5 hours ago, 3 hours ago, and then we got 2 days ago, and we're noticing pictures to the right, and we're going to talk about those pictures in a quick second. I'm not sure which one. I guess we'll go to the most recent, all right, because that might have the most details and be the most up to date. 2 hours ago, this is CBS Denver, and hopefully they're not going to play a video right now, but check this out. Oh, did you see that? All right, I don't even really want to see the video because my manga is down and stuff like that. We'll get to it. We know what they're talking about. We might actually check out the video in a second, all right? For those people who like to, sometimes I'll see the video, but sometimes it's really just BSing me and stuff. Like, let's take a look at it and stuff. They're just BSing me right now. We already know all this. Play Mountain Place, the big red house. We get it. All right. For those people who already get it, we're just going to dive into it. For those people who don't know, you can Google it up. It has been taking place over the past few weeks. The nonchalantness. It's not even dramatic. All right. And that's what we're going to stress when we're talking about this right now. We got breaking news. Child care provider arrested. Abuse case against Carla Faith delayed. Right, and I don't know if we're going to read this whole article, but let's read some of it. Let's get a taste. The owner of 4 child care facilities will now wait until January the 2nd to face a judge on charges of child abuse. See, back in November, police got complaints about a child care facility called Play Mountain Place, all right? So speaking about some haters, here it goes. At first, they did not find anyone inside, right? But later found a false wall, just to catch people up, that led to a finished basement. Inside, there were 2 adults and 26 kids, all under the age of 3. And that needs to be stressed, dude. We're not talking about 26 kids. We're talking about 26 kids, and the great majority of them can't even speak. Or, you know what I'm saying, can't put like together all sort of, you know what I'm saying, they really can't witness to things, basically, all these very small children. Now, after approximately 6 week investigation, the following four individuals have been arrested. We got Carla Faith, 58, and we're gonna about to take a look at her, and you already seen it. You already know what we're about to look at. So, Carla Faith was charged with an attempt to influence a public service, which is a felony, as well as misdemeanor child abuse. We're gonna talk about the different other people who are implicated in this, but notice that right there. That is the moral of the story, right there. What we just said right there. Okay, a felony of attempt to influence a public servant. So, attempt to weasel her way out of the situation. And then, get this, a misdemeanor child abuse. All right, that's the thing about it. It's like I understand the way that our judicial system, our legal system, whatever, how it works is that you're trying to get people on whatever charges that you can get them on. I can appreciate that. All right, it's not that I'm like overlooking that when I look at the word misdemeanor, and that just, I mean, it's hilarious, is it not? A misdemeanor of hiding children. You just had a misdemeanor of hiding all sort of little babies in a basement, a secret basement. All right, and it's actually worse than how it sounds when you first say it. When you first say secret basement, it sounds pretty bad, but it actually gets worse. Now check this out. Check out this later. I don't think we can make this picture smaller as we're scrolling through, but you can already see it. You see it in the eyes. I don't necessarily have to say anything, right? Right, but I will say something, all right? MK Ultra all the way to the maximum. And y'all already know this. I don't even have to ask y'all because I already know that y'all already understand what I mean when I say some sort of sex kitten, sex beta kitten, MK Ultra to the maximum, all right? And you can tell this right off the top. And we saw that picture from a couple weeks ago, the only picture that existed of Carla Faith. And this is Carla Faith, all right? And the only other picture that existed of her kind of looked pretty similar to that, to be honest. And now they got more pictures of Carla Faith out there, and they look pretty much the exact same. I mean, I'm talking about, look at that stare, all right? It's hard to, you really can't mimic that, all right? You can't fragilize that, what we're looking at, all right? That is genuine. That's a genuine article. All right. Christina Swager, 35, was charged with an attempt to influence public servant. The same thing. Felony, misdemeanor child abuse. Now, this could be also be some sort of like jostling as far as getting them into custody and then investigating further into, say, a secret basement. Could very well have tunnels, but even if it doesn't, that's bad enough, all right? We've already seen Carla Faith's face, and that's bad enough. Check out this person's face. Not as bad. I mean, if I'm being objectively honest, not as bad, but still bad. Like, if you concentrate on her right eye, for example, and then take a look back at the left eye, you realize that maybe two different things are going on right now, all right? Yeah. Yeah, perhaps she has like a little tiny bit of a lazy eye, but that's what I want to suggest is maybe she has a lazy eye. Maybe two different things are going on right now. All right. Either one's a possibility. We don't know this lady. All right. But something's going on right there. And it's not to say, like I said, it's not as bad as Carla Faith. But speaking of that, we have a third person. All right. And we'd be remiss not to mention this third person, Caitlin Nelson, who's 31. She was charged with an unlawful possession of a Schedule II controlled substance, of which we're not real sure at this point. Like, I don't know. I'm sure somebody does know. And that's a felony. And also a misdemeanor child abuse. Like, doesn't that word just scream injustice all over it? Misdemeanor child abuse. It's like, what does that mean, misdemeanor child abuse? What exactly does that mean? Like if you yell at a child like in public, like you dang child. I mean that would be a misdemeanor child abuse, wouldn't it? But all right, so check out this lady. She looks like a dang cartoon. Shout out to the 4 people up in the building. What up, Angela? I see you up in here. What's going on? Let us know what's popping in the streets, wherever you're at. What people are talking about, what people are mumbling about. Saying behind closed doors. What's really popping in the streets. What's really getting down to the nitty gritty. Meanwhile, we're looking at a cartoon character, kind of looking a lot like Sideshow Bob or someone who's related. Of course, way gone off of those Schedule 2 drugs that she's in possession of. That'd be Kaylin Nelson, 31. This is a person people trusted with their children, with their little babies. All right, so that's what's going on. All right, and I don't know what else. I mean, I don't know how much longer this article is necessarily. If we're gonna, let's just read this next part. All right, so like I said, misdemeanor child abuses for everybody. And I believe there's another lady by the name of Valerie. Hope all is well with me. Oh man, I would check out this. We got Angela up in the building. It's distracting me right quick. She says, she does look like, yeah, for sure. All right, something like that. She looks like a stereotype of somebody gone off drugs. You should not trust your little babies with ever, 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 just on sight. A lawsuit filed by parents claims breach of their duty of care to the children, including but is not limited to. See, I gotta wonder if there's more investigation taking place, if it's a serious investigation, or if it's just gonna get swept under the rug, and which is being done on these articles. But it says this placement of children in a basement crawl space. All right, so you could just assume it's gonna get worse. Like I say, it just keeps getting worse. Failure to provide care for the children in a safe and appropriate location. Yeah, I would agree. And they go through this whole checklist, an itemized checklist. I don't know how all this adds up to misdemeanor child abuse. I don't know how it does, but failure to provide appropriate training for staff. It's like, dude, what do you mean appropriate training? Nothing about this entire environment was appropriate. Nothing about it. And in the end, still they're like, well, yeah, but y'all didn't train them good enough. What are you talking about? This is a criminal activity. It's like if you caught like coyotes trying to smuggle people over the border and stuff, and then you caught them and you're like, dude, you didn't even train these coyotes. You didn't even train them correctly. Oh, that's unfortunate. Failure to provide appropriate supervision for staff. Failure to exercise reasonable care and reasonable supervision for children. Failure to comply with Colorado's child licensing. It's like, dude, why do you even bring up licensing? What is this? The children were too young to effectively communicate. Yeah, I get it. To the parents, I totally get it. I don't know about y'all, but these children were too young to be able to say what happened to them over in the secret basement. All right, regarding the negligent care being provided. And, that's all you really need to know as far as this. I guess that's where the article ends, but isn't that amazing? And that's just not. We're going to bring it up a little bit. We're gonna copy and paste it and stuff, man. That's what you have on your hands, all right? And I think I'm not a gambler, but I'm pretty sure it's a safe bet that this story is gonna get much, much more wilder. All right, and we just dove into Colorado Springs. I wanted to also kind of make note. It's interesting, okay, because you had that, and that's bizarre. That's gonna be swept under the rug. These people are gonna be hit with slaps on the wrist. The thing about it is, these people probably all MK ultra'd out. They're all probably being like, and they look like it. They physically look like it. That they've been all mind controlled to dominate on children and to get children in their vicinity by scheming and plotting against, for example, parents who have no clue what's going on with their little babies, not even the slightest. All right. I don't want to say throw them into a wood chipper, but put them into a very precarious position, right? And nobody's exactly looking in the mirror. I don't think, not yet, not that I know of. Okay, and that's a bad situation, right? That's wild. It's gonna get swept under the rug, right? That's how you know the news isn't here. I mean, but you already knew. But it reaffirms the news ain't here to bring you the news. It's here to incriminate who they want, to include Donald Trump all day long. But they're not going to necessarily talk about this very much, right? to this point, like actually, for example, that's in Colorado Springs, right? But if I was to type in Colorado Springs and go to the news tab, that typically says, the wildest stuff or the most notable stuff that's happening in Colorado Springs right now, currently. That was breaking news, obviously, about Carla Faith, but if you type in Colorado Springs, they're going to talk to you about something that I actually heard about, the other day. This Colorado man, he went to the bank, and apparently he went up in the bank and he didn't even have a weapon. But, he convinced them that they're being robbed, and he robbed them, and he took all the money, and immediately walked out the door and threw all the money up into the air. And it's said that what people did is they took the money off the ground and they immediately brought it back to the bank tellers who just had got robbed, and that's how the story goes. It's like, dude, would that be fake news? See, we gotta holler at our man Joe Green, and sometimes I get a little bit off on a tangent and stuff, but sometimes we gotta go into the field, and we got people in and around that area. I've known various people actually living around Colorado Springs, which is it's weird to say. Like, I don't know how big of a city that is or how popular of a city it is. But some, I guess, weird, wild stuff, kind of. Colorado man robbed bank, immediately threw cash out and Merry Christmas. And the article is probably just going to go ahead and say, what the heck, Trump's on a roll. I wanted to see a picture of the old man. Anyways, I don't have a picture of him, but you can see on the thumbnails they kind of look like Santa Claus, and that's funny. It's ironic. But it's not a very big topic. It is the number one thing that's going to pop up if you type in Colorado Springs, just to let you know who Google is and how they operate, right? And what they want you to know and what they don't want you to know about. All right, they want to talk about this Santa Claus character who did this kind of stuff, and it makes you wonder, well, why did he do it? There's got to be a backstory to it. At the end of the day, it's not that important. It's kind of wild. He could be MK Ultra now. He could be mind controlled. That could be part of the story. I'm not saying it is. He could have had some other reason for doing what he did, and but the thing is, okay, that's not that wild. The abduction of kids, putting them in a secret basement crawl space, that's a little bit different. Colorado Springs, reportedly, the man he robs us, and there he is again, bearded man, robs bank, gets money, and then yells Merry Christmas. And certainly a few people were talking about that. I did see another. I did see another article actually. They do talk a little bit down the line about Carla Faith right here, and as you can see, there's another picture of her. In every single picture, she has that stare of like blankness, but like maybe a dominating force of blankness. Like she's gonna take over and black out and not know what the hell she's doing. It's what it looks like. I'm sorry. But they probably should investigate. They're probably not going to. I want to talk about this guy too. As far as Colorado Springs, just because I noticed him. If we're gonna talk about Colorado Springs, there's another news item, and I thought that was pretty cool. Man allegedly bites Colorado Springs a police officer after car crash, and you can go ahead and check out the article if you want to at kktv.com. But I've already checked it out. It's it's pretty interesting to see that guy. And it's funny, earlier I was like, wouldn't that be funny if that was Joe Green? Of course, Joe Green is a little bit older than this guy, but I imagine this guy being Joe Green. I thought, wouldn't that be funny? A man is facing a long list of charges for allegedly assaulting another driver and biting an officer. I wonder how long this article is. Dang, it's real short. All right, they get to the point. The suspect and the victim driver collided at the intersection of Delmonico Drive and Rock Ramen Boulevard around 6:40 a Christmas Eve night. The suspect, who police say was at fault in the crash, allegedly got out of his car and attacked the other driver. So isn't that gangster? I mean, you're talking about Christmas Eve. And what did it say? 6:40 Christmas Eve? Like, it's barely dark out. Barely dark out, and this guy is wilding out. And he causes a car crash, and then he jumps out and beats that dude's ass, even though he's the one who caused it. And he had to be restrained by officers when they got on the scene. While police held the suspect down, he allegedly bit one of the officers. He's walling out, y'all. He's walling out. And I don't know if I could say that, what is that, drugs? Who's to say? There's probably a backstory. I mean, there's definitely a backstory to that. How wild it is, I couldn't say. Maybe he's just got emotional because of the holiday season and just lost it, started biting people. I don't know how common that is. But I bet you it's pretty common. Or maybe he was popping mollies and stuff like that, and he really was just biting down on anything and stuff. Who's to say what he was doing? What's the backstory? Was he MK Ultra'd out? Is everybody in Colorado Springs, or is half of people there just like planted and MK Ultra'd out to just wall out at any certain time? Right? Is Joe Green one of them? That's what I want to know. All right, but people are wild now, and from what I understand, it's a pretty small. It's not exactly a big town, right? And I'm not too sure, but I thought we would look into that, and we did. I think we did that thoroughly, y'all. There's some other stuff. See that I got actually bookmarked, and we could check it out and stuff before we get out of here. What time is it right now? 9:14. I don't know. I think we should just, put in a little bit more work, just to call it a day. There's definitely a couple other things that I wanted to talk about that I got bookmarked that we're going to check out right now. But in the meantime, what's going on with y'all out there? All right, we got Angela Hickenbotham. I don't know how you pronounce that out there, man, but it's a lovely name. In fact, I've known people with that name and stuff. That's a pretty popular name. I don't know if y'all have heard that name around here. Or wherever you're at, but I've definitely heard it and stuff. There's a Hickenbotham's over in Big Spring, actually. It's a hardware store, obviously. I mean, you could just tell by the name that it would be. We got her up in the building, and of course, we got Bart Fine up in the building. We got someone else who's a mystery man or lady up in the building. Hopefully, they know whether or not they are a boy or a girl. I would imagine they do, but maybe they don't, all right? And we got them up in the building, and I'm keeping an eye on y'all. Like I said, if there's something that's pending, I know we were talking about haters earlier. And I don't know, I mean, we could just be lazy and say YouTube, yeah, YouTube's hating on us. And truthfully, they are hating on us. But at the same time, we're not exactly their friend, and we're not doing them any favors, I guess, anymore. And that's terrible. Our relationship fell apart over time, and they do that, right? So we're moving on. But as far as other haters, yeah, there's a lot of other haters out there, I guess. It's not good, right? I don't have anyone in mind necessarily, and we've said it before. It may not even need to be repeated, but hatred is no good. See, hatred gets up in people's hearts. It's like cancer, and I don't think people understand certain things are cancer. All right, like hatred up in your heart, that's cancer. What if you're not getting enough? Like, here's another thing from out of left field. What if you're not getting enough rest? And I know a lot of people out there who have problems getting rest. And they'll tell you that many times there's side effects to not getting rest. And they feel it, and they're like, oh man, if I could do anything, I would just get some rest. And I would rest good and stuff. I don't have that problem. I gotta let y'all know. And I'm not bragging either. It's just like, man, I thank God that I don't have that problem. I get, in fact, too much rest sometimes, but it's good to get it in. And the lack of rest, that's like cancer. That can take over you. That can make you sick. All right. Different other things say polluting your body too much and not listening to your body is going to cause you some cancer. Stressing yourself out too much. I don't know if it sounds stressful over here. I know at times it might sound frantic, but it's not stressful at all. And I'm in I don't know if you say a precarious situation in which I'm pretty much concentrated on this wild stuff, like devastating stuff, like total dystopic, miserable type, ultra reality type stuff, pretty much every day. But at the same time, not panicked at all. Not stressed out necessarily. And there are various times when I let my imagination get the best of me, and I become flustered, and I get the feelings that you get, those familiar feelings of being stressed out, and then I'll be like, oh man, I'm stressed out. And then typically I take a look at myself and I say, well, what the hell? What am I doing? Why would I get stressed out? Right? Because there's situations, I mean, obviously drastic situations that do happen, like a handful in your lifetime in which, it might be appropriate to get stressed out. But other than that, it's just good to be aware. All right? I want to stress that tonight. All right? No pun intended, but just to be aware, I guess that's what we're trying to do. All right? And so that's why I want to be aware of y'all. I see y'all out in the building, and I understand that you probably have a lot to contribute. Different various things that we talk about a lot on this channel, reoccurring themes that you might have an update on and want to let us know, or maybe this stuff that's popping off in the streets. Like, for example, I don't know if I bookmarked this. Let me see. Let me see if I did. But if we go to Chrome and see if we can work Chrome, we're on Google right now, and I put some bookmarks on Chrome. Chrome was wilding out, but we'll see if we can get it. Here's the thing. I may have bookmarked a particular item that I noticed. It was going down in San Antonio. I don't know how to operate this stuff, y'all. Let me see. It was going down in San Antonio. For example, this was popping on my streets. There's a lot of stuff, actually. San Antonio is a very, very big place. Let me see if I can't go to the bookmarks. How do I operate this? Bookmarks. And then if I go to new, I'm already in new, right? Let's see. See how this works. Two suspected. Yeah, I did go ahead and I saved this. This is an article. This is one of the articles going down in San Antonio. It's real interesting. There was a rapper, and I don't know how well it illustrates all this. I bet you it does bring it up as far as this situation. I don't know how much time we got to read it. But basically what happened is there's a rapper who I'd never heard of. There's all sort of rappers all over the place that you ain't never heard of. They're getting some sort of money, but obviously it's not that much. But they're getting some, so they're probably getting more money than us, all right? So that's good. I mean, I'm not trying to take away from that. They're definitely getting more money than us. But these rappers, they get themselves in very precarious situations sometimes, right? As you're probably well aware of. And one, his name was, gosh, it was something weird. Oh man, Vaughn. It was MG Vaughn or something. MG Vaughn. I think it was MG Vaughn. I'm pretty sure it was something like that. All right, this guy, he gets shot up over at one of my favorite places in all of San Antonio, The Rim. It's a classy place. They got La Cantera Mall. They got all sort of snooty, highfalutin things to look at over there. All right, so he gets shot up in the parking lot. I'm not sure exactly where, but he gets shot up, and it's like early, some sort of like Saturday morning or something like that. He gets shot up, and his son's up in the car. His son does not get shot up, but he does get shot up like decisively, and they put articles about it, and then that's how I found out about it. I never heard about this guy before. And that was kind of interesting. They didn't find the people who was shooting the guy. Now, you can imagine, and I'm here to tell you, over at the Rim, La Cantera, stuff's going to be on surveillance. For sure. I mean, like, unless people are slipping, yeah, it's all going to be on surveillance and stuff like that. You should have high-definition cameras and the whole nine. It's a highfalutin place. All right, but they did not catch the suspects. Meanwhile, it was a few days later that we actually wind up having, man, we got 5 people up in the building. I just gotta let y'all know that I appreciate y'all out there. We don't have too much time left, but in the closing 10, 15 minutes, let me know what's popping up in the streets. But this was happening in San Antonio. It was a few days later when there was actually a mass shooting of 4 people. Now, this was out at South Park Mall. And it was interesting. Actually, a coworker and a friend of mine, he remarked, it's interesting that these 2 shootings happened. They were both at malls, all right, not too long away from each other. And there's actually, of course, been other shootings at other different malls. Malls are a little bit prone to shootings, it seems. Maybe a little bit more than most. Maybe not the most prevalent, but it's kind of prevalent in malls, all right? So, thought that was kind of weird. So it's kind of weird. Meanwhile, South Park Mall is pretty much on the exact opposite side of town. It's like all the way across town as far as the locations between South Park Mall and the Rim. And I would imagine, just because I haven't been to South Park Mall probably more than once or twice in my whole life, like, nor would I necessarily want to go. All right, it's definitely not worth going to unless you live over there, I guess. But you definitely would want to go to the Rim just to check it out, And it might not be so affordable, but it's a lot more classy. And anyways, yeah, I was like, yeah, that's an interesting connection. But kind of find out, it wasn't more than a couple days later, start getting articles like this. And I don't know where exactly it says it. Let's read a little bit of it, and they'll probably talk about it. Here, look, San Antonio police have arrested 2 suspects in connection with the shooting. Sent 4 people to the hospital Wednesday night. And I want to point that out as well. In this particular mass shooting, as kind of a lot of them do, nobody was even killed in this mass shooting. And I think, God, that nobody was killed. I don't want anybody killed. But at the same time, y'all are out here mass shooting everybody up. And you're not good at it. You're just not even good at it. It makes me wonder. It's like, dude, y'all must not have courage to be like, to look these people and it makes you wonder how this all goes down. Are they probably very much gone on drugs? Probably, yeah, they are. I'm here to tell you that's very likely. And they're just not even good at what they're trying to do. So they were trying to kill these people and they did not. All right. These suspects. So Sunday, police announced that the arrest of Lawrence Frams, 21, and I believe it's Deontay Johnson, 22. Each man is facing 4 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon up in a shooting in South Park Mall. Frams will also face charges on marijuana possession, like it even matters. Like, I don't know. Why would you even bother bringing it up? Police said they arrested the 2 men at separate locations on the southeast side on Sunday, and added that they know each other. Yeah, I would imagine they know each other. I mean, if they really are suspects, it's not like there's 2 strangers who got together and never met each other before and started shooting everybody up. According to the affidavit, police are looking for a total of 5 suspects. Now, that's interesting. I've heard between like 3 and 5 people who they were looking at coming out of this Dodge Charger and shooting people up at South Park Mall that day. So the victims, they have been identified as Fong Trong Lei, who's 17, Sung Trong Lei, who's 41. So you can imagine that's like a father-daughter type deal. Anton Spencer, 27, whoever that is. Elsie Nolia Galeas, who's 19. So this group of people who I believe they all knew each other, right? They were in a group and they got shot up. An affidavit states that the 4 were shopping at a jewelry store inside the mall. They purchased something and they were told to wait 15 minutes for it to be ready. And they went outside for a cigarette break when they were confronted by the suspects. And these are actually the suspects. They pulled up in a Dodge Charger. And you look at that guy, you might think, oh, that's a hate crime and stuff. Why isn't this all over the news? Well, because of this guy. That was his friend, Deontay Johnson. And the police said Thursday that the shooting was not random. And that's what's interesting. There's got to be a backstory to this. There's so many wild, crazy events that are taking place. And I'm sure that they're all playing out like a movie, just like wild and drastic, and who knows why these young kids were like shooting people up, but they seem to have a reason. It didn't seem to be random, noting the victims were intended targets on the Wednesday night attack. According to the affidavit, ballistic evidence indicates that one of the guns, see right here, one of the guns used Wednesday night was also used at the shooting at Savon Kyle, who's that guy who I was talking about, MG Vaughn. So it's weird because those shootings were connected. They used the same gun, in fact. All right, and it's like, what's going on? It would lead you to believe that MG Vaughn would be somewhat connected to those people who just got shot up. And although the people who got shot up, of course, they're victims, obviously because they got shot up, could they be a part of, like, what's going on here? What's the backstory? Could there be any behind-the-scenes retribution and this and that taking place in the streets? I'm not saying there is, but it sounds like it could be. Because, like, why would they murder this rapper the other day, and then for some other reason, clear across town, they're just gonna murder these other people? Like, they probably are very much related and stuff. And who's to say? All right, but that's kind of wild, and I thought I'd bring that up. There's all sort of wild stuff goes down in San Antonio, and we could go on and on, but I don't think that we should. All right, I want to find out what's going on where y'all are at. All right, more so in the future. And of course, we're gonna step up our game, a little bit, and we're gonna do some more of that live streaming, probably on D Live. So check me out as far as those links and stuff go. I forget whether or not I bookmarked anything else. I should have done it, but that's not to say that I did do it. All right, and there's all sorts of stuff going on, and stuff that we're definitely keeping an eye on. And we're going to touch upon all these different various things. Let us know what's really popping in the streets. I actually got a news item the other day sent to me. Ah, man, and I forget where it's to find that, but it was dealing with the Parkland teachers, I guess. People in Broward being teachers. Okay, so we got man allegedly bites Colorado Springs police officer. That's what we checked out. Two suspects arrested in connection with the South Park Mall. We checked that out. And I actually see at the top right here we have confirming measles case. Official warns in Austin. It's a measles epidemic and something that we really you better be scared about. You better be hiding up in your homes about. But I'm not sure if we're going to finish out on that. I only have one time for one more. So there's actually an article that I seen right before I came on, and I thought I would add it to the mix. All right. It's not exactly like what you would call monetization friendly, I guess you would say. It's kind of a bummer and stuff. Now I'm seeing it. It's like, oh man, I just bummed myself out. But it is kind of bumming. It's kind of messed up, all right? And we don't know the details of the situation. Everything's just like kind of like coming out, and people are putting articles out about it. Apparently, parking garage and stuff. Christmas Day tragedy. Mom and two kids die. This kind of stuff. I saw that was taking place. That's no good. And honestly, as we take a look, all right, we're taking another look into the eyes, all right, and we see that we got some more General Shepherd clones coming up, and that's what we need, all right. That is definitely what we need because YouTube is on the way out, obviously, like we've been talking about. We've been kind of lazy about it, but it's going to be a point in time in which the only thing on YouTube is going to be Alex Jones and InfoWars. All right, and you mark my words because that time is going to come at some particular point in time in the well, maybe not the near future, but at some point in time, YouTube is going to consist of nothing but Alex Jones videos. All right, we're taking a look into the eyes, and we're not being funny actually. All right, and we don't have too much time. I do have to get out of here and get some stuff together, but to wind it down, we're looking into the eyes. All right, and some of us are sensing a problem just by these eyes. Now, other people will look at the same exact photo and say, "Oh, that's a wholesome picture of it, just a normal person and stuff like that. Doesn't she look average and stuff like that?" Not really, not really. But only some of us can really kind of look into someone's eyes and see that it's just all wackadoodle, and there's other stuff going on behind the eyeballs. All right. And it's pretty much an article about basically she's a 40-year-old lady. We're not going to read all of it, but a 40-year-old lady. She had two children. One was a daughter who's 4 years old and a son who is 16 months old. All right. And I guess threw him off some high thing, threw him off the roof. All right. And then jumped off the roof of the parking garage, right? So that's not good. And that was like right there in the morning, not even the morning, but the late afternoon on Christmas, right? And so, just like every other story that we're going to talk about, they all have backstories, and a lot of times those backstories just go noticed. Like, nobody discusses them. All right, and I'm sure that this one is going to have a backstory, and we might not even detail it on this channel because it is kind of typical. That's what I got to let y'all know. It's so typical that it's trending. Like, and that's why I bring it up. That's kind of trending. And if we were to kind of want to take like a frontal approach to some of these problems, this is trending, all right? This is not exactly a rare thing, all right? How often does it happen? Maybe that needs to be looked into, but it can't be looked into necessarily if we don't first address the problem. And I'm not the first person to talk about this sort of stuff, but I also want to be in the mix talking about this. It's bad. Look at her eyes. Look at her eyeballs. It's not to say you could judge people off their eyeballs necessarily, but after the fact, you can see that something's bad's going on, right? And how much you want to bet the backstory is there's a father, obviously, of these children, and maybe he did whatever. And who's to say what he did? But who's to really say what he did? All right, but perhaps, he just simply didn't want to deal with this lady anymore. You know what I'm saying? And as adults, he, was like, hey, and who's to say? Like, I have no idea what this backstory is, but let's just say maybe he's like, I'm calling it quits. I don't want to even deal with this. You're getting all nutballs. All right, well, so she gets the children, which is very typical. I would say that happens 95% of the time. And I'm not saying I'm speaking out against that necessarily, except to say that a lot of times they totally lose it. And a way for them to get back at the person who they hate, they have utter hatred for this person who just left them, is to do something bad to the children, all right? And that's pretty much the go-to. That is very common to the point where I say, it probably happens more often than not. The children will get hurt as well instead of just say the lady. Like, for example, the lady could have jumped off the parking garage thing and killed herself, right? And I'm not saying I want that. Obviously, I don't want that to happen. But if she wanted to, she could have made that happen. And instead, she was like, nah, we're killing everything. Especially the two things that this guy loves, and I know he does. And don't you see that kind of a pattern? She knows that he does, and obviously she doesn't. That's kind of like they were some sort of a waste of ways and means for this lady, her children. Isn't it so typical? She knew for a fact that man would have rather take care of both the children, economically speaking, would have rather took both the children and had to deal with them himself. She knows that for a fact. That's why she threw him off the parking garage roof. And it's quite typical. It's quite typical to the point where it might like take some looking into, like, some sort of preventative maintenance or something, like to ensure that this kind of thing doesn't happen. The problem is that it does happen a lot, all right? And that's about it, I guess, for tonight. It's like, man, we want to end on a better note than that. So that's pretty bad. It's hard to even say, but I will let you know that, this particular channel and our affiliates are looking into Hunter Biden, because that seems also, if we're going to end on a lighter note, that seems to be a treasure trove of stuff that's wild. And not only that, he could probably put on a list of all sort of politicians' children who are all messed up, to including especially Nancy Pelosi's son. I mean, just wild out, dude. Born just drowning off the gravy train, just like all sort of, you know what I'm saying, hubris and stuff like that. Just walking around like they're the cock of the walk and stuff, doing all sort of crimes, smoking crack maybe, perhaps in the car, smoking crack maybe at the DC nightclub and stuff. Who's to say? Just while not doing whatever they please type stuff. And so we're going to keep an eye on that. We're going to keep an eye on a lot of different things, I suppose. We're going to try and keep it in order. And of course, not get overwhelmed. There's so many things happening. It's going to be a new thing. It's going to be 20 new things every single day. And so we're going to take it easy, but at the same time, stay focused, all right, on the simple things, all right, because we're very simple over here, around here. And anyways, uh, that's about it, all right. I appreciate y'all. Might go ahead and do a live stream tomorrow night, all right. But if we do, it's going to be a little bit, I'll let y'all know beforehand, but I think it's going to be on D Live, right? We're going to be getting things together, getting all the technicals together, stuff like that. I appreciate y'all. I'll holler at y'all a little bit later. It is December the 26th, 2019.